The Hyundai Palisade, Hyundai's biggest SUV, is a huge deal in the US. Over 110,000 units hit the road in 2024 alone, which represents a staggering 23% increase year over year. With so many people already in love with it, the new model isn't just about being good, it's about being better. It gets updated styling, an all-new interior, and even more refinement. Mazda's CX-90 crossover, on the other hand, has long been a favorite in the segment. But this all-new CX-90 has been a real winner, moving both the SUV and Mazda significantly upscale. It's a 17-foot-long family SUV with seating for up to 8 that really engages the driver like no other. But to find out which one is a better buy, in this video we'll compare both SUVs' designs inside and out, pricing, and how they drive. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. Right off the bat, Hyundai just threw out the book for what an SUV should look like, and it really shows. Up front, it's all one rectangular shape after another. The Palisade's new daytime running lights are really what draws your eyes at a first glance. The redesigned grille, while slightly smaller than the previous generation, is more striking with its repeating rectangular shapes. The new headlights are so well integrated that they are almost invisible, and the different silver pieces dotted around just give it a polished executive look. From the side, the greenhouse has been straightened up with sharper angles, while just above the wheel arches, a squared contour in the body panels further accentuates a squared-off look. Out back, there is no way around it. It looks very similar to a Range Rover. The taillights feature the same stacked LED design you'll find at the front, while the Hyundai logo with the Palisade wordmark dominate the liftgate. One main omission here is that the tailpipes no longer poke out of the bumper. As for Mazda, well, it's a Mazda, and no one is better at making something that's sporty, aggressive, yet elegant at the same time than the Japanese. The front end mixes Mazda's current shield grille with more squared-off headlights, all tastefully integrated into one coherent look. From the side, a long hood and short front overhang can make it seem longer and lower than the Palisade, but it's mostly an illusion as both their dimensions are quite similar. The CX-90's wheelbase, however, is longer by 6 inches. Out back, the taillights are possibly the biggest departure from the current Mazda styling. The lighting elements are slim and stretched nearly to the central Mazda badge, definitely the source of inspiration for the upcoming 2027 CX-5 model. When it comes to looks, I think it's a no-brainer. The CX-90 has an absolutely sensational design, and I'd go as far as to say it's the best-looking SUV in its segment. Jumping inside, while the old Palisade featured a fairly attractive design, this generation is completely new with oval shapes just about everywhere. There is a layer of luxurious materials that extends across the dashboard that's highlighted by a flowing metal trim line that wraps up and over a large digital display showing with some wood trim right next to it. A panoramic curved dual 12.3-inch displays under a single piece of glass replace the old model's separate design, putting it more in line with other Hyundai SUVs such as the Tucson. The new screens are a big change from the 2025 model, so they had to redesign the dashboard. The vents are now contained within individual oval surrounds instead of spanning the entire width of the dash. Another change is the center console, which offers a double-door center stack with an open tray in the lower part for extra storage. As for infotainment, the SEL trims and above feature the more attractive panoramic dual-screen setup. The gauge cluster can change its design depending on drive mode and offers plenty of useful off-road information. The central display is standard across the range and is responsive in high definition, seamlessly integrating Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and is positioned at a nice height but still doesn't look like an afterthought as some of its rivals. As for Mazda, the CX-90's interior is mighty classy and makes a strong impression at first glance, especially when you go up the range. Leather is standard on all but the base trim, with nicer Nappa leather options on the higher trim levels. The low-wide dash has 9 main panels that are upholstered and stitched. The top-of-the-line Turbo S Premium Plus is genuinely on par with luxury models, with sumptuous faux suede trims and, depending on the color scheme, quilted seating surfaces and wheel well trim. I must admit, however, lower trim levels of the CX-90 look far less appealing than their counterpart on the Palisade with similar materials used throughout. Another downside compared to the Hyundai is that only the higher trim model get the largest available screens for instruments and infotainment at 12.3 inches apiece. The lowest trim CX-90 gets some analog dials and a smaller 10.25-inch infotainment display. The graphics are attractive and easy to read on both screens, but there isn't much in the way of configuring the instrument display, unlike the cluster of the Hyundai. As for passenger and cargo space, the new Palisade's wheelbase has been stretched by almost 3 inches. The front occupants have plenty of room length and height-wise, and the seats are very supportive and comfortable. The second row is just as spacious, with some of the best figures in the segment, and the captain's chairs offer great support. Legroom in the Palisade's third row is fairly limited, making it less ideal for tall adults in the back. As for cargo space, behind the third row there is 18 cubic feet. With the third row folded, space grows to 45.8 cubic feet, or 86.4 with the second row folded down. As for the CX-90, the front occupants have plenty of room length and height-wise, but knee and hip room are a little tight compared to the Hyundai. The second row is similarly roomy and is available as a 3-row bench or a pair of captain's chairs with decent space all around. The third row is a bit disappointing, however. Adults can fit, but they'll need to find some compromise with the second row passengers to have a tolerable amount of legroom. As for cargo space, the CX-90 offers less volume across the board. With the third row in place, there is 14.9 cubic feet. With the third row folded, space grows to 40 cubic feet, or 74.2 with the second row folded. When it comes to pricing, the 2025 Palisade SE starts at $39,400, but the mid-range SEL Premium is the one to go for. It adds many of the SUV's best tech and luxury features, including USB-C ports in the third row, heated and ventilated front and second row seats, the dual-screen setup, and Hyundai's most advanced driver assistant features. The top-of-the-line calligraphy model goes for $54,600. As for the CX-90, for as premium as it feels, the pricing is quite aggressive. The base Select trim starts at $39,000, and it comes standard with all-wheel drive. The one to go for, however, is the Premium Sport trim, and it comes with the larger 12.3-inch cluster adjust screen, heated and ventilated front seats, and a 12-speaker Bose sound system. 2 engine power levels are available, but the more powerful variant is only available with the 2 highest trims. When it comes to driving and handling, the 2026 Palisade features a newly developed 3.5-liter V6 engine, making 287 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque, all mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. This new engine replaces the old 3.8-liter V6, which really worked hard to get going. Well, the good news is that this engine is significantly more refined, and while it won't burn any rubber, it's far more effortless when getting up to speed. Driving the Palisade, in a word, is reassuring, combining a raft of active safety features, smooth driving, and a commanding view of the road. Though it's a large SUV, accurate steering, huge mirrors, and clear sightlines meant that parking garages were the only places the Palisade felt its size. Another big advantage of Hyundai is its Highway Driving Assistant 2 adaptive cruise control, which is seriously impressive. With the system fully activated, it controls steering, speed, and the distance from the car in front using radar. It will even change lanes if you flick on the turn signal if it's safe to do so. As for the CX-90, unlike the CX-9 it replaces, it runs its engines lengthwise rather than sideways, and the all-wheel drive system merely sends power to the rear rather than the front. The base engine of the CX-90 is a turbocharged 3.3-liter inline-6 that makes 280 horsepower and 332 pound-feet of torque. There is also the CX-90 Turbo S model that has higher output, making 340 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. That's on 93 octane, but it can also run on regular fuel but with a dip to 319 horsepower. Both engines feature a 48-volt electric motor placed between the engine and transmission that provides hybrid assist. This powertrain is just as smooth as you'd hope, and it has a deep, throaty growl, but it does so with an indoor voice so as not to disturb occupants. Mid-range power and torque are plentiful with this quick-spooling turbo. It's a bit of a shame, however, that it runs out of revs so quickly. Compared to the Palisade, the CX-90 really draws from its sports sedan roots. Its rear-biased all-wheel drive and turbocharged inline-6 in the 340 horsepower Turbo S variant deliver incredible power and livelier handling. The steering is crisp, the chassis is eager, and the balance is incredible. It's a rare 3-row SUV that actually enjoys being pushed hard around corners, offering a unique option for buyers who want something more than just a computer. So, which one should you choose? Well, I think it's really simple. If you can get past the Palisade's controversial looks, then it's a really good buy, especially at the lower trim levels. But if you want something to really connect with that almost feels alive while still getting great levels of comfort and space, then nothing beats the Mazda CX-90.